Hey, what is up guys, it is Slikk, or Slickbuff here, and I'm back again with another video. In this one, giving my thoughts on the Injustice 2 character roster, considering that 27 of the 28 characters in the main roster have already been revealed, with the final one being revealed on April 28th, 2017 of course. And April 28th is 428, and people have been making a fuss out of Batman number 428, which is A Death in the Family. And by the way, when I say making a fuss, that's actually a fair point, because what people get excited about there is that obviously a main character in A Death in the Family is Red Hood. So people are speculating that maybe the final character reveal will be Red Hood and not the Joker. I for one think it probably will be the Joker, just because he is so iconic to mainstream audiences as opposed to Red Hood. So if I had to bet money on it, I will say that the Joker is going to be revealed, but that's not to say that Red Hood can't be DLC. In regards to the 428 thing, yes, obviously Jason Todd has a big role in Batman number 428, A Death in the Family, but as does the Joker. In fact, the Joker probably has a bigger role in that actual story, considering that Jason Todd is dead for most of it. Or so we think. Okay, anyway, you guys know the story of A Death in the Family. Let's get into the character roster. And obviously, you know, I was on my hiatus when all of these character reveals were happening, so I look forward to giving my thoughts on the entire character roster. And if you remember, it was actually leaked about 2 or 3 months ago, and when it was first leaked on Reddit, I called BS. I said on Twitter, no way this is real, and even more so, if it is real, I hope that it's not. I believe I actually tweeted. And now that the roster is actually here and it turns out to be true, I'm very happy with the character roster, just to be clear. You know, I'll give it a solid B+, mainly because there is a few characters in here I would maybe pull out and replace with others, and I'll tell you about what characters I would pull and replace with other ones, but I'll also compliment the ones that I'm really happy with are in the game. Obviously, we have Superman and Batman and Wonder Woman that are gimmies in the game that I'm not going to spend too much time on, but then we get to Supergirl, for instance, who I'm really pleased is in the game. You know, I thought that she would be, but she also has a really integral part of the story, and Supergirl is a character that's grown on me quite a bit in the past year, I'd say. You know, with the show, admittedly, somewhat I got into her that way, but then I started reading some of her comics. She's a very good character, and she's going to have a big role in this story, seeing that she comes to Earth between the events of Injustice 1 and Injustice 2, so sort of at that pivotal point, and I think that she'll be driving the plot in a number of ways, and she will actually, you know, tip the balance of both sides, this Batman versus Superman conflict that the teasers have pointed us to. So then we get to Aquaman, and Aquaman is actually the only main Justice League character in the game, excluding Cyborg, because I don't consider him a Justice League character, even though he's technically in the Justice League, but that's a separate story for another day, that doesn't have any villains in the character roster. So, for instance, you know, The Flash has Captain Cold, he has Gorilla Grodd, we have Green Lantern has Atrocitus and stuff like that. But Aquaman does not have Black Manta in this roster, which is sort of interesting to see. But according to the same leaked DLC Reddit post, which we can trust is now true, I mean, let's face it, because everything else is true about it, then Black Manta is going to actually be in the game in DLC. So that'll be fun to play as Aquaman versus Black Manta. And Aquaman, by the way, does have the coolest super move in the game. Just saying. So then we get to Atrocitus, who was announced really early on, and like I said, you know, when he was first announced, I was kind of like, why would they announce Atrocitus? But then it becomes more obvious once Hal Jordan comes into the picture. Yeah, I mean, Green Lantern needs to have an enemy or an opponent, and he's actually, by the way, probably the strongest character in the game from what I played of the beta, which I did play extensively. He is really good, in my personal opinion, so I look forward to sort of mastering him a little bit. He's a bulky character. He's fun to play as well. Then we get to Gorilla Grodd, who I do not believe was in the beta, so I don't think I played as him, but he is, or looks fun to play as, and as I said, you know, we got 2 members of the Rogues appearing here, Gorilla Grodd and Captain Cold, so that's pretty cool to see that. Then we get into Deadshot. Now, Deadshot is interesting because I'm happy that he's in the game, but at the same point, I sort of wonder if I would prefer to have Deathstroke. I think, you know, I maybe think that Deathstroke is a little cooler as a character. I mean, not too much. Deadshot is a pretty sweet character. With that being said, though, maybe I would prefer Deathstroke being here, but I don't know, because they're going to play completely differently. That's the thing, you know. Slade, of course, has his sword that he uses, and he played very distinctly in the first game, so I'm glad to see them actually switch him out, probably, because that means that they're going to, you know, be innovating, essentially, and creating a whole new character as opposed to just recycling an old one, and that is what I sort of feel they did with BANE. We'll talk about it a little later. So, overall, I'm happy Deadshot's in the game, don't get me wrong, and he's going to play way differently than Deathstroke, so I'm happy about that, and I cannot wait to play as him. He's going to be a lot of fun to play as. Then we get to Harley Quinn, who is basically the most popular female character in comics, in comic book history, which is sort of crazy to think about. I mean, Wonder Woman may be more iconic, but in terms of like who's hot right now, who's popular, who are the kids dressing up as for Halloween, you know, whatever, Harley Quinn wins, and we can thank that really to David Ayer and Margot Robbie with Suicide Squad. So that's it's shocking in some ways, but at the same point, it's kind of not. You know, she's a fun character. So I mean, Harley Quinn is just so much more popular than anything Marvel has to offer right now, assuredly. But even so, you know, even more popular than Wonder Woman probably, and that's just an insane feat. I'm sure that Paul Dini is very happy with that because he gets the royalty payments whenever anything with Harley Quinn is used or sold because he created the character. But anyway, Paul Dini's very happy, I assure you. The Flash, obviously a gimme that he's in the game. Happy to see his villains appear. And then we get to Blue Beetle, who is a B-list character that is probably my most anticipated. Like, of all the B-list characters that are in here, I'm most excited for Blue Beetle. I mean, it's such a great pickup for them. He's an amazing character, super underrated in some ways, and I just cannot wait to see Blue Beetle in this game. He's just a really fun character. I cannot wait to see how he fits into the story, I imagine, under Team Batman. So, just absolutely amazing. He's fun to play as. I played as him in the beta. He's tough to play as, maybe, but he's a lot of fun. I cannot wait to play as him more. So then we get to the first character on this roster. Everything's good so far. Happy with all that at the top row. Then we get to Bane. I do feel that Bane doesn't really need to be in this game. I don't know why he's in here. You know, when you have characters like Red Hood, like Starfire, like Beast Boy, that would just add so much to this character roster that would be so fun to play as and be really dynamic in the story. You have Bane. I don't really know what purpose he serves in the story. I mean, obviously I can read his bio here. I just don't think he should be in here. We have enough Batman villains. We have Scarecrow. We have Poison Ivy. It's not like there's not enough in here. And with that being said, I would remove him and replace him with Starfire, but that's just my personal you know, little nitpick there about one of the characters. Then we get to Poison Ivy, who I'm really happy is in the game, because we saw Swamp Thing revealed first, and I was like, oh, nope, Poison Ivy's out. You know, you're only going to get one or the other. And I was totally wrong, as I was about many things with the pre-release of this game. And Poison Ivy is going to be in the game, and not as a premium skin, but as an entire character. Some people may think that's a waste of a slot. I don't know. I'm happy with it, though. I'm glad that she's in here. Then we get to Brainiac, who is also a really cool addition to the game. I'm happy that he's in here overall. Damian Wayne Robin, I believe I posted the Electoral College picture of Ed Boon. Yeah, he came in last place in the poll behind Nightwing and Red Hood of who do you want in the game, and ultimately Nightwing and Red Hood aren't in here, and we get Robin. So that's a little bit weird, you know, it's like, why did you ask if it's not going to matter, you know what I mean? But at that point, he was tweeting, the story was already completed, pretty much, so I can see why, but at the same point, it's like, why did you ask? It is, you guys are getting Robin, suck it, you know, Nightwing's not in the game, you should have just said that, as opposed to asking us and getting our hopes up, and like, oh, Red Hood won, we might get Red Hood, but he might have been pulling for DLC, so we'll have to see there. Now, Black Canary, another B-list character, if you can even call her that. I'm just so glad that she's in the game. She plays and looks really fun to play as. I have played as her in the beta. She is just a lot of fun to play as, and I tell you what, I wasn't expecting her to necessarily be in there. I wish that we had some other, you know, I wish we had Huntress or Batgirl to, you know, complete the Birds of Prey in here. But nonetheless, I'm not going to complain. I'm just really glad that Black Canary is in the game. And the same thing with Swamp Thing. I mean, a really, really cool character that plays, it looks like he plays really fun, and just has a really unique moveset and awesome ultimate move as well. Just really awesome stuff. And then we get to Catwoman, another Batman villain, if you can call her that. A lot of Batman characters in the game, and some people have complained about that. I don't think it's too much of an issue. Again, I would take Bane out and replace him with Starfire, but overall, I can't really complain too much. Batman has the best rogues gallery in comics. You've got to make use of that in some way. Then we get to Cheetah, who, can I just say, is way cooler than Ares as the Wonder Woman villain to be featured in Injustice 2. Looks like she plays really cool. I cannot wait to play as her and see how she fits into the story. And, you know, as I said, probably way cooler than Ares, although Ares had an amazing super move in Injustice 1, probably a cool upgrade there. Okay, and now we get to Cyborg, who I do not feel should be in the game because I don't really care for him as a character. Maybe he should be in the game, but I just don't think he should be in the Justice League. I think they're trying to push him. DC is way too hard in the Justice League, and he's just not a character that's very popular. I mean, his comic book series, I haven't been keeping up with it. If it's not canceled now, it's going to be very soon. You know, people just don't like Cyborg. I'm sorry, man. Just people don't like you, dude. I don't know what it is, you know, but the way that you deal with that, with somebody not liking characters, either change them or just sub them out completely, not push them further and further and further, which is what DC has done, adding him to the Justice League and stuff like that. So, you know, that's kind of annoying, and it is what it is. Cyborg is in the game. As I said, I had replaced him with Red Hood, another Batman character, so people would freak out about that, about how there's already too many Batman characters, and that's a fair point. So maybe Cyborg should be in the game. I don't know. I just don't want him there, personally. So, then we get to Dr. Fate. And by the way, I do understand why Cyborg is in the game, just to be clear. But I'm just saying, if I were constructing the roster, my dream roster, Cyborg wouldn't be in there. Dr. Fate, an amazing character to include in the game. Like, he's not one that I know a lot about. I know he's been around since the 40s, I'm pretty sure. He's a super old character. Not one that's caught on very well, but still a really cool character. And I'm just really glad that he's in the game. I'm glad that they delved a little bit deeper into the DC universe than they did in the first one. And I'm really happy with that overall. We also have Green Lantern in the game. Glad he's in there. And then we have Firestorm, who, you know, I'm happy that he's in here. I think that maybe another Teen Titan like Beast Boy could be a little better. But I understand why, because of the CW shows, which is a lot of mainstream audiences have been catching on to that. And Firestorm is in Legends of Tomorrow, I'm pretty sure. So I'm glad that he's in there, I suppose. He's not my favorite character. I don't really have any personal attachment to him. But overall, you know, he has a good spot in the game. I can definitely give him that. Then we have Green Arrow, and Green Arrow is obviously going to be in the game. Revealed somewhat later in the game, but pretty cool. Then we have Black Adam. Really weird. We have Black Adam, but not Shazam. I just think that's so weird. So he must have a purpose in the story, and I look forward to seeing what that is. Captain Cold, a pleasant surprise. I have heard that Mr. Freeze is going to be a premium skin for Captain Cold. I look forward to that. And then we have Scarecrow, who is a surprise to me. I was not expecting him at all. He looks really cool. I think on the gameplay, a little heavy on the chain. I was just watching the gameplay trailer, and it seemed like he was using it, like a lot of his abilities were a part of it, but maybe just for the trailer they were spamming it. I don't know. But a minor complaint. Overall, as I said, I would say that two characters in the roster I'm not happy with. Cyborg and then BANE. I would take BANE out for sure, but overall, all these rest of the characters are really, really cool. There's only 3 characters that I have, like, really in my head that I wanted in the game that weren't in there. That is Red Hood, who may get revealed on the 28th, who is Red Hood, Starfire, and then Beast Boy I would like to see in the game. But overall, you can't get everything that you want, of course. I'm very happy with the roster. It's great. I cannot wait to play as the entire character roster in Injustice 2. Let me know your thoughts on this video in the comment section below, and my thoughts on the entire character roster. Who would you like to see? Who are you disappointed is not in the game that should be? Let me know all those thoughts in the comment section below. My name is Slikk. Be sure to like if you enjoyed. I'll see you guys in the next one.